Links are created and removed using link and unlink method or function. That would basically use in our example as well, would use unlink. Okay, and also the idea is that you can create directories, you can remove directories, you can open a directory using C programs as well. Okay, using those functions that are built-in functions, mkdir for example, and then we have rmdir, which basically is used to remove the directory. Okay, and obviously that you can also read directory, you can open a directory as well. For that we have built-in functions as well. Okay, so yeah, without a further ado, let's go ahead and let's do the practical work, because you can read about directories and links further when you'll buy the book. Okay, so we'll go to cprogram.c here, and in here what we're going to do is that we are going to do a practical code, and first of all we would create a directory. Okay, and then we would basically try to delete it. All right, so what we would do here, would just change the import, the header file. So would write here sys slash types.h. Okay, types.h, and the other one, the other header file that we need is gonna be hash include, that's gonna be sys slash stat dot h. Okay, so these are the three header files that you basically need. And then after that, what you are gonna do, because we don't need this thing inside the main block. Okay, so because we don't need it, so we will delete it. So after that we'd write a new code. All right, so for example we'd write here integer, and then let's call it a result, res, equals, and then we basically create a directory. We write here mkdir. Okay, and then we give an absolute path to where we want to create a directory. So for example, we want to create a new directory on our desktop. Okay, so for that what we would do would write here slash home slash the username of this machine, and I'm signed in as Linux Hint, and then slash desktop. Okay, I need to mention clearly that I'm going to desktop, and now on desktop I can create a new directory or a new folder, you can say. So when I do that, after that what I need to do, that I need to assign permissions to this directory. So I would do all permissions. Okay, so for that we have a chmod command in Linux course, if you remember. So I'll just put the link in the description to that video as well, where we have discussed all the directories. Okay, so you can go ahead and you can check that out, chmod as well. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss it here, that how you basically assign permissions and how you do everything. We have a separate video created on this channel. So what I'm going to do, that I'm going to put the link in the description, so that you can go ahead and you can watch that video and you can understand what permissions are in the directories and in files. Okay, so once you have done that, now what you're going to do, that now you're basically going to check if the creation of the directory has been successful or not. So for example, if this res, if this mkdir returns 0, then it means that directory has been created. If it returns -1, it means that directory has not been created. So we check this variable res. If that is equal to 0, it means that the it has been successful, right? So we'd write here printf, and we would write here creation of directory has been successful. Okay, so then I'll put a semicolon here, and after that I'll write here the else block, and obviously the else block will contain a statement something like that the creation of the directory has been failed. Okay, creation of directory has been failed, okay, something like that. So once you have done that, after that what you have to do is nothing. Yeah, you're done. So now this code, what it would do, it would create a directory. If the directory has been created successfully, it would basically return 0, and if it isn't created successfully, it will return -1. Okay, so we are all set. So would save this, and we would go to our terminal, and in here we are going to write here gcc cprogram.c, which is our file name, -o flag, and then obviously the binary file name. Okay, so we hit enter, and you can see that it says some sort of error, and a semicolon is expected. I forgot to put a semicolon here. So now I would save it, I'd go back, and I clear it, and then I try to run it again. I hit enter, and you can see that there is no error and it is running successfully. So now if I would just, let me show you something here. Let me just drag it on the side so that you can see clearly when the directory would be created. So would write here tst, and we hit enter, and you can see that it says creation of directory has been successful, and you can see that we have new folder right here. Okay, so we don't have any file in here yet, so what we can do, we can create any file. So let's say we create new touch new.txt. okay, so we hit enter, and we have here new.txt file inside of here as well. So now let's try to delete it. So let's use unlink as well. So first of all, if there would have no file inside this new folder, then what we would have done, we would have just simply used mdir, and then we have simply used rmdir, and that directory would have been deleted. But now we have a file inside, so what we need to do, that first of all we need to unlink that file from the directory. Okay, once we unlink, and unlink, basically what it does, that it removes the relation between file and directory. Okay, so we remove that link, we unlink it, and then we basically use our mdir to delete it. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's try to do that. So we'd remove this. Okay, and obviously we don't need this types.h library, so in place of that what we would have is stdin, excuse me, so in place of that we'd had uni std. Okay, so once we have that, now what we are gonna do is that we are going to go here inside of the main function, and in here we are going to do a few things. Okay, so first of all we will create a character array, okay, named as, let's say, let's call it new file. All right, and and in here what we would do would basically store the address, okay, to the new file. So we'd write here home/linuxhint, which is my username. You will write your username here, and then we write here desktop. Obviously there is a shortcut, you can go inside the folder and copy the path as well, but I'm writing it manually, okay, because I have a grip on this thing. Okay, so we write here new folder /new.txt. okay, so this is basically this is the path to our new file, okay, that we have created, which is new.txt essentially. So the next thing that we have to do is we write here character, and then we write here new dir, then we write here brackets, and then equal sign, and then after that we just basically copy this path till here. Okay, we don't need the to include the file. Okay, we have included the file before. So now what we are gonna do, that we are going to first unlink this new file. Okay, and then we are going to delete the directory. So we write here unlink, and as an argument we pass the path to the file, which is new file. Okay, and then after that, once we have unlinked the file, now we are okay to delete the file. Okay, so now what we are gonna do, we are going to write here an if condition. Okay, and inside that if, we're basically going to call this rmdir. Okay, rmdir, and inside of that we are going to pass the directory path. So we write here new dir. All right, and after that we'll just put here an exclamation mark, then not equals to, and then we write here 0. Okay, so now after this if block, we'd write here p error, and we'd write here rmdir error. Okay, and after that we can write here else, and then we can write here the other block, which is essentially puts, and we will say here removed. Okay, so we put a semicolon here, and yeah, we are all done. So we save it and we go back to our terminal and we try to run our code. So we hit enter, and you can see that it has not given us any error. So we just /tst run our binary file, we hit enter, and you can see that our directory has been removed. Okay, so the next topic is monitoring file events. So the Linux specific inotify mechanism is the one using which we basically monitor file events. All right, so the idea is that the Linux specific inotify mechanism allows an application to obtain notifications when events, files are opened, closed, created, deleted, modified, renamed, and so on. These kind of events occur for a set of monitored files and directories. So the inotify mechanism, it has superseded the older denotify mechanism. Okay, so in this topic we would do an example related to inotify in C program, and let's see how we can actually monitor different files. So let me just remove everything, not actually everything, but we need this structure, main function. So let's just not remove it, and now this main function is empty. So now we'd write inside of it the code that we need, but first of all we would just remove these two libraries, and we would add the libraries or the header files that we need. Okay, so now the second header file that we are gonna need is let me just copy this. stdlib.h. The third one that we need is error no. Okay, err no.h. The fourth one that we need is sys/types.h. okay, sys/types.h. And the fifth one that we need is the inotify. Okay, sys/inotify.h. let me just write here sys/inotify.h. the last one that we need is uni_std. okay, so right here uni_std. all right, so these are the libraries that we need, and after that what we are going to do, so we are going to define a few things, two things actually. So first of all we'll do that. So if we write here define event size, so I'm gonna write here struct, and then I will write here inotify underscore event. Okay, and then I would come on to the next line, and in here I would define the buffer length. all right, so I'd write here buf underscore len